enjoying the Facebook group. Obviously, we're reviewing this book, Lead Generate 61 Days to Double Your Pay. Just kind of hopefully a tip a day, a strategy, a thought process, something to help you get back on track with your generation, whether you sell a product, a service, a widget, you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur. We all need to generate leads, right? Or else kind of business doesn't happen. So we're on day 57. We're kind of rounding out the book. And I've got a chapter in here, which is a holdover from my Washington Mutual days. When I worked for Washington Mutual for 8 years, they are 9 years, 10 years, I don't remember now. They failed. So when I worked for Washington Mutual, they were neurotic about tracking and measurability. And what they found out in the banking industry is that if you could get somebody kind of interacting with 3 banking products, then they would be a client for life. So if you had something like a checking account, a savings account, and a credit card, or you had a mortgage, a line of credit, and an investment account. Basically, once people have either 3 relationships with a company, or they've been using that product or service for somewhere around 3 months, there's this magic number, then they just become full-time lifetime clients, right? Like once you buy 3 pairs of shoes from kind of the same brand, that's kind of your brand. You're kind of a Nike guy, or you're a Reebok girl, or I just got into these sandals, Olakai. I'm in love with these Olakai sandals and flip-flops and whatnot. So now that will probably be, I've already bought like 3 pairs, 1 for my wife, 2 for me. That'll probably be the company that I stick with, right? Unless they upset me in some way. So this idea of that which can be measured can be improved is really powerful and a hangover from my banking days. But let me just go into the chapter here. If you were to look at your lead spreadsheet, right, or however you track your incoming leads, which you should have, right? If you sell anything, a widget, a product, a service, it doesn't matter. You should have a spreadsheet or some type of customer relationship manager where you track incoming leads, incoming contacts, people that your business is interacting with. You can see which patterns are emerging, what referral sources are actually providing leads, right? What paid marketing is giving you a return on investment. Where are you at, right? If you've been able to track, right? If you've been following along for the last couple of months and actually having a spreadsheet and tracking where your leads come from, you'll start to see like, okay, where is my business actually converting from, right? Do I get leads from Yelp, or do I do paid advertisement on Facebook, or do I do print ad, or do I put a, banner outside my bakery shop? Whatever it is, you need to know where your clients are coming from, because eventually you'll be able to project, future revenue. Hey, I'm getting this many leads from this source. They're converting at this rate. If I pour all my money into that vertical, maybe we'll see more leads, right? Maybe I see a trend that I need to hire ahead of demand in my business because I'm tracking my lead count, right? Let's see here. Oh, this is actually from Washington Mutual. I wrote, prior to buying $1 billion of suspect loans on the secondary market, Washington Mutual, my favorite employer, they were known for saying all the time to their employees, what can be measured can be improved, right? And it was this idea of spending 10 to 15 minutes a day of tracking, of, putting your leads into a spreadsheet, into a CRM. In my 20s, my thought was, oh, well, this is ridiculous. This is just a waste of time. This is just some manager justifying their job. Why wouldn't I just go spend that 10 to 15, 20 minutes making an additional sale, right? Contacting an additional client, opening an additional checking account when I worked at Washington Mutual, because they had this really cool platform where even if you were a loan officer, you could jump in and do personal banker stuff and get paid. It was pretty cool. But what I learned as my career progressed, as I got more mature, as I got more business minded, as I got more training in the reality of how business works, especially when I started managing people, and I made a ton of mistakes doing that, I understand how important the tracking was, right? For understanding staffing needs, for understanding where our money was coming from understanding where I needed to put my effort, right? Maybe there was a vertical that wasn't my favorite, or a referral source that wasn't my favorite, but was giving me an overwhelming number of the results and the leads that came in that turned into closed business. So anything that you can do to help better track your clients, where they're coming from, and their contact information, that is the well that will keep on giving, right? And I know a lot of you in this group right now are loan officers, and the power of this databasing, right? Or you're realtors, or you're in a vertical where you're not as dramatically affected, or maybe not affected at all by COVID-19. the ability to have that on-demand database of these are all my clients, these are where they're coming from, this is where they came from in the past, and now I can hit them again with a new product or service or some value add like dropping interest rates. That will help you over your career sustain your kind of baseline business model. And then more importantly, when there's these black swan events where interest rates, for example, in the mortgage industry, drop to an all-time low, you can get in touch with your entire database because you track them, you know where they came from, you have their contact information, and it just makes life and business so much easier in the future. It makes it so much easier today. And it's like anything else, right? An ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. God, I knew I was going to screw that up. Anyway, the thought is, a couple little workouts here, a couple little tweaks here and there on what you're eating, taking some vitamins, it's way easier than open heart surgery, 20 years into the future. Same thing here. 15 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day of tracking your leads, where they're coming from, putting them into a spreadsheet, knowing where your business is coming from. It's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars in future revenue and just all kinds of mental anguish when you can actually look back and see where things are coming from. So you want to track it, you want to measure it, and then you want to adjust your business model based on that. So those are my thoughts for today. Love you lots, and we'll talk soon. We're rounding out this series. So let me know what